So today I had a lot of time to watch a lot of videos about everything that transpired yesterday with Charlie Kirk. Okay. And I have to admit I'm a little confused. Okay. Because deep down in my heart, I want to hate and have the uttermost vengeance for every Democrat liberal out there. And that's not right. So, I'm going to be very clear. I understand if you did not like Charlie Kirk. I understand if you did not like anything he said. I understand if hatred came to your head when you heard his voice. But if you praise his death, if you are glad that he's dead, get out of my life. Do not invite me over. I will not invite you over. Get off my page. I'll get off of your page. No questions asked. Okay? No, and there will be no conversating in between either. Okay? There's no meet in the middle on this. Get out of my life. Like I said, if you hated him, that's fine. If you absolutely couldn't stand the dude, that's fine. You know, there's people I don't like. And I don't go around killing them. Somebody who spoke their opinion and what they believed in. And if you're going to rejoice that they're dead, I said in my last video, if Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, if any of them were shot and killed, I would not rejoice their death at all. Did I like any of them? No. Did I hate them? That's a strong word. Okay. Borderline. Okay. But I wouldn't praise their death. I wouldn't be happy about it. You know, somebody just lost their father, somebody just lost their mother, whatever the case might be. Somebody lost their husband, somebody lost their wife, whatever the case might be. Okay? You could dislike somebody and you could have an absolute hate towards them. That's, you know, hate to me, like I said, it's a strong word. It's like calling a woman a... Okay? There's special criterias for that. Okay? If I were to call a woman they really need to do something really bad and intentional. Okay? Same thing. An asshole. Calling a guy an asshole. He's got to do something intentional. Something on purpose. You know, something stupid. You know, not just stupid, but just not right. Okay? So if you praise his death, if you are happy about it, and you are willing to just admit that, get off my page, get out of my life. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm seeing a lot of stuff where people are out in public with their megaphones or just yelling, and they're praising Charlie Kirk's death. Jason Aldean has a song called "Try That in a Small Town." Well, guess what? It's not a small town, but just for the sake of it, I'm going to call it a small town. Do that in my town. If I see that in person, Ange and I are out walking in the store, we're going anywhere, whatever, and I just so happen to walk across somebody saying, you know, we shot him in the neck, we shut him up, anything like that, I will be going to jail that day. I will go to jail for that day. I don't know what the charges will be. We'll find out if that time comes. but I will go to jail that day. Okay? If they can catch me. No, because I'll admit it. I'll turn myself in and I will say, yes, I did it. Whatever it is. Okay? Might be some liberal that cries and pisses his pants because I yelled at him. You know, his pussy got wet because I freaking yelled at him. Trust me, it's happened in real life. Right now, Democrats look really stupid. Democrats look really freaking stupid. Liberals look very freaking stupid, okay? And do I think it's fair that all liberals and Democrats are under this umbrella? I don't. I really don't. And I hate to say it, and I hate to admit that. Not everyone does. Not every single Democrat, liberal deserves this hatred. Okay. Because not every single liberal and Democrat out there is cheering his death. There are some people that are like, that was... I watch The View. I watch The View regularly. Okay. Because I want to see what they have to say. Just to see. It's kind of like Jackie Chan says. I like to let people talk who like to talk so I can see how full of shit they are. Yeah. You take Whoopi Goldberg, the worst one, who has been caught so many times, spreading lies, been caught, and have admitted it on national television, has given public apologies because it was wrong, okay? You have this time and time and time again from these liberal left women, okay? I listened to them today, and I have to admit I was impressed. Had I not clicked on it and looked it up, I would have thought it was conservatives talking about Charlie Kirk and how wonderful of a guy he was, okay? And how unfair of a death that was. So I have to... I'm going to give them credit for that one. That they didn't take an opportunity to bash this dude. So there's the credit there. Do I believe anything any of them said? I'll admit. It kind of sounded heartfelt. It really did. So... I know they have their opinions, and I know they have their hatred, and I know they have their opinions. I'm not going to say anything that they said today, 9/11, September 11th, by the way, that any of it was fake. Because I don't know. I don't know their hearts. I have to admit, in their voice, it sounded legit and sincere. It sounded like they kind of grew up and grew a pair, if you know what I mean. And stop being childish. Okay. But if you're cheering Charlie Kirk's death, and I find out about it, and we're friends or family, even family, I don't give a shit. We're family, and I find out you're cheering his death, get out of my life. Seriously. Because that just tells me how low of a person you are. And it's not because it's Charlie Kirk. It's just a human being. Now, you want to cheer the death of a murderer, a serial killer, a rapist, a pedophile. Hey, let's cheer, okay? They deserve it. But if somebody's speaking their mind, and if you're happy about it, we have bigger problems. Okay? I like that phrase. I said what I said. Okay. I don't know. I can go on for hours about this, and I could make this a whole 1 hour segment. But right now, I just want to put that out there. We're done, if that's what you truly believe. Okay. Like I said, you could hate the guy. You could dislike him. Okay? I didn't like anything Joe Biden said if I could understand half of the things he actually said. Okay? I didn't like Kamala Harris. Okay? Nothing she ever said was funny. Okay? She could sit there and talk and none of it was funny to me. You know? None of it made sense either. I was like, how in the world can you get two people in high power with the same brain dysfunction? I really kind of was rooting for Kamala Harris to be the better one. That was tough. Okay. You know, we could talk shit about Donald Trump, you know. Do I believe and agree with everything Donald Trump says? No. Do I stand by him as a president and hope that he is the one that's going to, like, pull us through? Yes. And I'll get into that, too. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, oh, look, he destroyed the Obamacare, you know, blah, blah, blah. He made it better. He took it out and reformed it. But the media don't tell you that. And you don't read into that. See? Because somebody told me that. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of messed up. And then I stopped. And then I went and I looked it up. And I looked up the policies. And I looked what he wrote. Yeah, he took it away and reformed it. Remember that old commercial? We don't make things. We make things better. And that's exactly what Donald Trump has been doing. He hasn't been making things. He's been making things better. Okay? So, I can go on and on with that. Boil it down so that I don't have to make a whole video about it, though. Do your homework. You know? Donald Trump does this. Okay? What did he do after that? Okay? Because guess what? The prescriptions I get for my blood pressure went from $7 to $3. Not bad. You know, $7 to $3. I know it's not a huge amount of money, but it went down after Donald Trump's, actually not even immediately. It was like a month after he did his whole signing of the, like I said, I'll get into that. I could go on 4 hours, okay? Like I said, if you made it this far in the video, good job. Get out of my life, though, seriously. Do not invite me over, you know. I hope it doesn't come down to that. You know, there's liberals at my work. Very few, by the way. There's like 3 that have been voicing it, and they even told me today, during before our little stand-up meeting, and they're just like, I'm done with this political bullshit. They're like, I'm not going to consider myself a Democrat or a liberal anymore. They're like, I won't consider myself a conservative, but I will never, ever be seen as a liberal or a Democrat ever again. If anyone asks, be like, you know what? I don't give a shit. You know, I don't care. And that's fine. I don't agree with that. You know, pick a side, honestly. My 3rd grade teacher always said, if you don't vote, don't bitch. Okay? But they straight up said that they will never be seen as voting for the Democrat Party ever again. And not to mention how many videos I came across today where they're like, I'm taking my posts down. And I have Democrat friends, I have liberal friends, and I follow them. They have good content. They have great content, stuff I like. And I've seen their content. And they said, they're like, I want to take my stuff down. I want to take my stuff down. I'm like, whatever. Like, whatever. On the way home, before I drove home, I looked at 4 accounts. And they took most of their stuff down. Most of their stuff was stuff talking shit about Donald Trump. And most of it was speeches from like Biden, Kamala, or Pelosi. And I know this because I've looked at their page and I'm like, roll my eyes, when I come across one of their political videos. But they've taken them down. They've deleted them. I'll finish with this. There's a lot of people that have gone viral for talking shit about Charlie Kirk, and they have now deleted their video, their entire account. They have deleted their entire account. And some of the videos that I saw were like, oh, look at the MAGAs. They're scared now. They're in running and they're hiding. And no, just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. Okay? You just flicked the balls of a lion right now. That's all you did was flick the balls of a lion. And you just pissed it off. Okay? You pissed it off. Yes, you did. But we are not running. And in fact, if anything, we are doing quite the opposite. We are actually going to make a stand a lot more. We are white knuckling, digging down, holding our ground more than ever. This shooter, all he did, this shooter radicalized the right, okay? This shooter, I'm going to be honest, I'm afraid the right is a right-wing group is going to do something stupid. And I hope they don't, okay? You can't fight evil with evil. But I sincerely feel that they've done pissed us off so much, that something's going to go down. I don't know what. I don't know what go down means. It could be, a huge protest 3 miles long. Or it could be breaking some more windows. I don't know. Okay? But all I know is you did not put us into hiding. If anything, you brought us out. Like I said, normally if I saw somebody out there, with Biden signs, and I have. And I go out and I've taken pictures of the liberal left and Democrats, and they're protesting downtown. I take really good photos of them, okay? I use my camera, my skills, and everything that I've come across with photography. I make them look good. I had this wonderful picture. They're all down Lomas, all of them holding flags. They're holding their signs. Great photo. Check it out on Facebook, Instagram. Good photo. I didn't say nothing negative about them. I didn't say anything positive about them, that's for sure. But I posted it just because that's what I do. I journal, okay? And I say, they're here at this time, and this is what they're doing. Now, that day, I did have one guy who actually put his hand in my car, taking pictures of inside of my car. And this cop, he was awesome. He goes, I'm going to follow you around because he was afraid that these guys were going to do something to me. He was afraid Democrat liberals were going to outnumber me and do something. So he was worried about my safety, not me. And I had a gun on my hip, okay? I had a gun on my hip. And he was worried about them doing something to me. But this guy, he's all taking pictures inside my car. And I looked at the cop, and the cop goes, kind of just nodded his head. And then so I kicked my car door. And luckily this guy pulls his arm back and, and missed his wrist, his arm. It would have been great. But really, that's where you guys are at. You're putting your arms inside my vehicle to take pictures of what? Taking pictures of my license plate. And all I did was go down there to take pictures of the protest. And that's how they treated me. Okay? And I say they because it was multiple. As soon as I got out of my car, they saw I had a flag on my car, and they saw that I have a fuck around, find out sticker on my car, and I have a Trump sticker on my car, okay? And they're like, oh, you fucking murderer. You fucking racist Nazi motherfucking piece of shit. Really? You don't know me very well then. You know, for one, my family. For two, who I married. And for three, just my historical past. Okay? So, amazing how you, I'm going to say, Democrats, liberals, come to these jumping conclusions about shit you don't even know about. Okay? So think about that for a second. I got to get to bed. It's been a long day. My eyes are like hurting. But, you know, when I think of the downtown, and that's how liberals and Democrats were during their little protests while talking shit about Donald Trump. Like I said, I didn't go down there. I didn't say a single word. All I did was go down there and take pictures. You know, if anyone who knows me, I will not incite anything right away. But they're the ones who are very hateful, very fast. I mean, I didn't even put my car in park yet, and I was getting shit. So, there you go. You know, and that's where we're at. That's where we're at with this whole political bullshit. I've seen it tear apart family members. I've seen it tear apart friends. I've seen it tear apart, you know, employees, bosses, supervisors, you know, careers. And it shouldn't. You know, I didn't see that when I was a kid. When I saw two political parties arguing, it was like arguing about Dallas and Philadelphia. You know, that's all it was. And now there's just this hate. And it's from the liberal left. It's from the Democrats. We could literally just be like, okay, fucking retards. You know, whatever. And we laugh it off. The liberal left and the Democrats, and I'm going to say all of them on this one, have this hate. It's insane. It's almost demonic. The hate that's there. There's this evil hate. You know, like I said, we could just be like, you guys are fucking retards if you're going to vote for a vegetable and practically a wheelchair in a mental institution. You know, that's one thing. You know, we might call you names. We might call you like, but you guys have this hate that just, we see it on your faces. We see it like just over consume you. That the only thing I could think of is demonic. That's really what it boils down to, is demonic. You know, it's like, I almost feel sorry for you because I almost think like maybe it's not really all you. There's something inside, you know. I don't know. Instead of making 10 videos, I made one, so here we go. But I'm going to head to bed. It's been a long day. I'm tired. My eyes are killing me. I've been working, doing a lot of driving and then a lot of sun, so you guys have a good night. And just remember, you don't have to like Charlie. You could absolutely hate him. But you rejoice in his death. You were warned. Just saying.